Hey guys, Constance here from CosmopolitanCornbread.com. So today I thought I would sit down and just chat with you about a topic that is very important to know about if you are planning to have chickens for the very first time, particularly if you are raising baby chicks. This is something that most people don't know anything about or have never heard of, but it's very important to know about this because it is something that might seem harmless and just a little gross, but actually it is life-threatening and can be deadly for your chicks if you don't know about it. And that is something called pasty butt. Pasty butt is kind of what it sounds like. It is when a baby chick will have waste that gets stuck in the feathers on their little hiney, and what happens is it gets plastered on there and it can actually seal up their vent. Now a little bit about chicken anatomy. Their opening in their body where their waste comes out is called the vent. The vent is also the part of the body on females where they lay their eggs. It's the only opening to the backside of a chicken. This is also called pasting up or pasted butt. So it has a couple of different terms. I've always referred to it as pasty butt. I think that's the most common. But this poses a very serious health risk for your chick because not only is it unsanitary, but the waste that gets stuck to their feathers and gets pasted around their vent, this can actually seal up their vent and it can make it where they cannot expel their waste. And of course, if they can't expel their waste, it can be fatal to them. So this is one of the reasons it's very important to look over your baby chicks every day, make sure that they're healthy, make sure they're clean, they're doing well, and just check them over because pasty butt is something that can develop very quickly and you want to stay on top of it in case that happens. Now when you're looking over your chicks, you may see something that's small and dark on them, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they are developing pasty butt because a baby chick, when they have just hatched, in the first few days, they do actually have a type of an umbilical cord where they were attached to the yolk. If you see something small and dark on the chick down there and you're not sure if that's pasty butt developing or if that's the umbilical cord, just leave it alone. Because you don't want to try and remove something if you're not positive, because if you try to remove that umbilical stump, what could happen is you could do serious fatal harm to your chick. So if you aren't sure, just wait. If it's something tiny, just leave it alone. If it is actually pasty butt developing, there is not going to be any doubt because the vent is located right underneath the tail of the chicken or the baby chick. And it'll be very, very clear that this is poop because it will be stuck to the feathers. It'll be, sometimes mushed on there, and it's not going to be any doubt if it is actually pasty butt developing. Now, chicks that are raised by their mamas generally don't have this happen because the mamas will keep their babies clean and take care of them. So that's not generally something you have to worry about if you've got a mama hen. This is something that primarily happens with chicks that are being raised in a brooder. And there's any number of reasons that they could develop this. First of all, sometimes it can be from stress. Chicks that come in the mail have a little bit of a higher chance of developing this because coming in the mail can sometimes be a little bit of a scary situation, and so they run a higher risk of developing it. Make sure that your brooder is kept clean. You want to clean it on a regular basis. Make sure that the chicks have good food, that they have fresh water. Chicks will scratch and make a mess just like grown-up chickens will do. They are constantly scratching, they will dust themselves, they will fling wood shavings all over the place. And so you will have to clean out their water several times a day because they will get wood shavings all in there, and you want to try to do your very best to keep their water clean. Make sure that the temperature is right in the brooder. You don't want it to be too hot, you don't want it to be too cold, and that can help alleviate the stress and make it a better environment to reduce the risk of the pasty butt developing. Another thing that you can do is put a little bit of apple cider vinegar, the healthy natural kind like Bragg's, in their water. A typical 1 quart sized chick water, I'll put about a cap full of the apple cider vinegar in there. It just helps promote good gut health and keep your chicks healthier. I do this with my adult chickens as well. I'll put a little splash of apple cider vinegar in their water, especially in the winter time or when the weather's been bad. You just want your chickens to stay healthy, and I just feel like that helps them do that. Now, if you do have a chick that develops the pasty butt, once you take care of it, keep an eye on it because sometimes they will develop it again. Some chicks are just a little more prone to it. That's just the way it is. One of the things you can do to help prevent it is to rub a little bit of olive oil on their vent in the feathers, and that just helps keep it from being sticky, and then keeps the poop from getting stuck on there. Some people will actually do that for all of their chicks as a preventative. I don't generally do that just because, like I said, I don't have this happen very often. And just keeping an eye on your chicks, making sure that they're in a clean environment and all of that can help reduce the chances of that happening. Okay, so how do you handle pasty butt once it develops? How do you get it off of your chick? I cannot stress to you enough the importance of how careful you need to be in doing this. You need to be gentle. Whatever you do, do not just try to pull the poop off of your chick. This is going to sound horrifying, but you need to hear this. If you just pull it off, you could disembowel your chick. The poop could actually be sealed to your chick's flesh, so don't just pull it off. You've got to be gentle in this process. Chicks are very fragile, and it wouldn't take much to do irreparable harm to your chick, and you don't want to do that. So how do you do this safely? There's generally 2 ways of doing it. First of all, if your chick has a really serious case of pasty butt, their rear end may actually be sealed up where they could not poop. So once you get this off, they may poop all of a sudden quite a bit. So you want to lay out some paper towels or rags, or have something on the surface that if they poop all of a sudden, that it'll catch it all. Now, the first way of doing it is you can use a washcloth, get it wet with warm water, hold it on your chick's vent over that poop until it is softened, and you can slowly wipe that off. And just do a little bit at a time, rinse out the washcloth, hold it on there until it softens, and just gently massage it until it comes loose and comes clean. The other way of doing this, and the way that I generally will do it, is I will take the chick into the bathroom. I actually had an instance a couple weeks ago when we first brought these chicks home where one of them did develop some pasty butt, and I went ahead and filmed it because I knew I was going to be filming a video about this topic. I just turned on the faucet and I let it run a nice warm temperature, not hot of course, just comfortably warm, and I held the chick's little rear end underneath the water, gently massage it until it came loose and came off. And again, the keys are warmth, moisture, gentleness, and patience, and it will come off in no time. Now, of course, you don't want your chick to get chilled because they're now damp, and so what you can do is just take a blow dryer, put it on low setting, warm, and just very gently dry your chick with the air until they're completely dry, and then you can put them back in the brooder. So I hope that explains to you what pasty butt is and why it is so important to keep an eye on your chicks. And if you see this developing, you want to take care of it to keep your chicks safe and healthy. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And be sure to check out my website, cosmopolitancornbread.com. I have an article that explains this entire process as well in print form, and there are also many other articles about keeping chickens there on the website. Below the video here, I will go ahead and put a link to the category list that has all of the keeping chicken articles and videos, so that if you are looking for more information about keeping chickens, especially if you are thinking of keeping chickens for the first time, you can find all sorts of information about that there, to include how to set up your brooder and make a safe environment for your baby chicks to grow in. So that is it for today. Thanks for joining me here. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below and I will be sure to address them. So thanks for joining me here at the homestead. My name is Constance from cosmopolitancornbread.com, and I'll talk to you all next time.